Many thanks for your company. And in our top story, the Bono Regional Police Command has arrested 8 foreign nationals for engaging in illegal gold exploration and purchasing without a license at Wewe, a village near Banda in the Bono region. The suspects, identified as nationals of Nigeria, Ivory Coast and Gambia, were arrested following sustained intelligence and surveillance on their activities. They were arrested while actively engaged in illegal mining and gold trading operation in the community. Gold dust, mercury, and lighter used in gold processing. Now, the exhibits have been retained for forensic examination, and all 8 suspects are currently in police custody, assisting with investigations. The Bono Regional Police Command is... Let's still stay with illegal mining, because President John Mahama has expressed hope that the finance minister will make a significantly large budgetary allocation towards the fight against illegal mining, Galamsey, in the upcoming budget. Now, speaking during a meeting with civil society organization on sustainable solutions to illegal mining, he emphasized the importance of sustaining military deployment to protect forest reserves and water bodies. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agwagwa has more in this report.
Where we have gotten to now, we have to make a decisive decision whether we are going to tolerate...
The forum brought together over 20 civil society organizations, many of them actively engaged in advocacy against illegal mining. The dialogue opened with the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakufibua, who gave an update on progress made in the fight against illegal mining. He revealed that comprehensive regulatory reforms are underway and 250 mining licenses will be revoked in the coming days. The coordinator of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, Kienu, issued a clear warning to illegal miners, stating that security agencies are coming after them and will deal with them.
We'll continue to burn them in the water. The forest reserve, whatever equipment we cannot use, we will damage them, including excavators. We'll scatter them into pieces in situ. His Excellency, Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to send this warning to illegal miners, their assigns and financiers, that they are the first or prime enemies of the state, and they will be dealt with as such. There will be no room for them to escape or to hide. NIMOS will smoke them out very soon.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dominic Ayine, also announced that LI 2462, as amended by LI 2501, will commence in October 2025. He added that a new tribunal bill, which will create dedicated courts for mining offences, has already been submitted to Cabinet and is likely to be passed by Parliament when it resumes. He gave an update on some high-profile prosecutions.
And I'm happy to announce that in 2002, the police conducted very diligent investigations in respect of Akonta mining. But the docket was hidden until we came to power. In fact, when we came to power and I started the investigation with the the Lands and Natural Resources Minister and the Forestry Commission, we were finding it difficult to get information. Subsequently, the police themselves owned up and presented the docket to my office 2 months ago. So as we speak, the charges against Chairman Wuntumi, Akonta Mining, and 5 others have been signed as I speak. Currently, we are waiting for him to be read his right to remain silent, etc. Before we've asked that he should be brought from, Kumasi. His lawyers asked that he should be brought on Tuesday, but I'm insisting that he should be here on Monday. If he doesn't come on Monday, I'm going to order for his arrest so that he'll be brought to Accra. His rights will be read to him, and then we can start the prosecution. One of the most debated issues ahead of the meeting was the call by some CSOs for a state of emergency to be declared, but opinions were sharply divided. Yes, Bishop Antonina Asari, Auxiliary Bishop of the Archdiocese of Accra.
We urge you, Your Excellency, to provide the following: clear benchmarks that will trigger a state of emergency, visible prosecution of kingpins including those named in official reports. The establishment of promised fast-track courts.
But security expert Colonel retired Festus Abuaji disagrees with calls for a state of emergency over Galamsey. GJ President Albert Jumfo is happy with progress made in the fight against illegal mining.
We, as part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, have been calling for the state of emergency. But having heard and followed the presentation today, I'm tempted to believe that we are on the right path. It is a matter of having progressive engagement and also getting the media involved in telling the story.
President John Mahama says he will not hesitate to declare a state of emergency in areas affected by illegal mining if Ghana's National Security Council advises that it is necessary.
You know, yes, I have the power to do it, but the president acts on the authority, not only on the authority, on the advice of the National Security Council. And as at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. I want to assure you that the day they advise me otherwise, that, boss, now we need a state of emergency, I will not hesitate in declaring a state of emergency. But we do still think that we have the powers to be able to win this fight. And as we deploy more troops and we apply more resources to the fight, I'm sure that gradually we'll begin to see that we're winning the fight.
An executive of the Small Scale Miners Association, Henry Ben Smith, also rejected calls for a state of emergency.
But if your son is not doing well and you are not teaching your son what the right way to go, and you say, I'll kill you. Who ever has killed his son because the son has gone to do something wrong to that father? You will not do that. If you're a father, you're not going to do that. You need to rather give room and educate the person and direct the person where you should go.
Well, President Mahama expressed hope that the finance minister will make a significantly larger budgetary allocation towards the fight against illegal mining, Galamsey, in the upcoming budget.
In the first effort we made, we go into a forest reserve. We mapped out the forest reserves that had been that had incursions of illegal miners, and we deployed the first wave of our security services. They scored a lot of successes. In a short time, they had cleared some of the major forest reserves that were called no-go areas. Unfortunately, after we cleared the illegal miners from there, the security services withdrew and handed over the forest reserve to the Forestry Commission. And so they put their forest guards there. The forest guards don't have the capacity to defend the reserves against the illegal miners. And so lessons learned were that in the next wave, with the formation of NIMOS, that we must deploy the military on a sustained basis, rather than when we make some wins, we withdraw them. But it comes with a cost, because if you send troops and station them permanently to guard the forest reserves, we must feed them, we must provide them with fuel, we must give them vehicles and all the logistics they need to be able to do that. And so that links up with Franklin's question about budget. We need a substantially bigger budget than we have currently to be able to win this war. Happily, budget hearings have started. The budget for next year is going to be presented to Parliament, and my expectation is that the Minister of Finance will give a much bigger allocation to this fight against Galamsey.
Away from that, inhaled mercury is dangerous and potentially deadly. That's the warning in the latest FCDO-backed report on mercury and other heavy metals impact compiled by Pure Earth and Ghana's EPA. The study shows growing exposure to heavy metals not just through food, but also through the very air people breathe in, illegal mining areas where mercury vapor is released. Medical practitioner at Dobou Teaching Hospital, Dr. Denzel Tay, says mercury inhalation and can damage the lungs when it enters the bloodstream, and stresses that there's no safe limit for exposure.
Now, when you inhale mercury, you inhale something we call elemental mercury. And one of the first things it does is that it goes to your lungs, where it can cause all manner of complications. Although the severity of the symptoms you have is dependent on the dose of mercury you are inhaling. Also, when it comes to the ingestion of mercury, something ends up happening we call biomagnification. So by the time it gets to a human being, more of the mercury has accumulated, which means that the side effects you are going to have are going to be more severe. And it's going to do things apart from your lungs. It's going to go into your brain and your nerves, and then it's going to cause sometimes destruction, complete destruction. Sometimes it blocks blood vessels, so you have something we call an infarction, which is basically that part of your nervous system begins to die. And it can also go to parts of your kidneys and also cause pathologies over there. So generally, it's quite a dangerous substance to play with. Now, when it comes to inhaled mercury, as I mentioned earlier, it goes to your lungs, which means that if you eat mercury, it's not really going to go to your lungs. It's going to go to your brain and your nervous system. But when you inhale mercury, it's going to go to your lungs. And that can lead to things like scarring of your lungs. And when your lungs are scarred, it means you can't breathe well, which can definitely lead to death.
Now, Dr. Tay notes that while early exposure can be treated, mercury remains dangerous for anyone who comes into contact with it.
With mercury is that treatment of mercury spans, as I mentioned earlier, the concentration or the amount of mercury that you've been exposed to. Now, the danger is that if you are exposed to a large amount of mercury at the same time, we can rush you to a hospital, we can give you oxygen, we can even give you something we call chelators, which binds the mercury and take it out of your body if you present early enough. The danger is particularly with long-term exposure to mercury, because in that case, a lot of the time, you are not even aware you are being exposed to mercury. By the time the symptoms begin to develop, there's very little we can do to prevent death or the terrible consequences of mercury toxicity or mercury poisoning.
Now, the story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content. Let's move away from that and bring you more stories related to Galamsey. And in a bid to avoid accountability, some small-scale miners are reclaiming their concessions as the government cracks down on those abandoning deadly pits. Now, this move comes after a string of tragic incidents, including the recent collapse of a Galamsey pit in the Ichima Mponia district in the Ashanti region, which claimed 9 lives and left several injured. Anaya Jima has more in this report. Well, we'll bring you that story later. But moving on, residents of Techiri in the Afresi Pakrum in the Tano North municipality say they are living in fear and neglect as Newmont's Ahafo North Gold project advances without proper resettlement, fair compensation and adequate safety measures. At a press briefing in Techiri, the communities appealed to the government and international bodies to intervene, citing pollution, explosive blasts and human rights violations disrupting their daily lives. Correspondent Imoro Edujemfi has more.
You must secure a land, compensate the people living there, engage with the government before you can begin production. But as we speak, Newmont is operating. If you go, they are opening their pits, and you can see them having firing of their dynamites and others, that they have not even begun compensation. We are expecting them to go into proper compensation with the people, adequate, prompt so that we will have good relationship with them.
The affected residents say they have planned an unending demonstration against the mining company to register their demands.
We are here engaging with the media to escalate these issues and help us get our issues confronted. What we are saying is that we are writing to the authorities that next month beginning, we are going to initiate a demonstration. Demonstration that is not going to end until adequate and proper compensation are paid to everyone. Until that is done, we are going to have a demonstration throughout the process, and Newmont will not have its way through until they do adequate compensation.
Residents bemoaned the unjust treatment by the company.
Meanwhile, nipa dadanu eno enene ono so wetimi aya ode bo na busua eho ban saa ne ma na ekoso no ye besre pa se aban ontwa nani emehwe yen.
The aged, women and youth also voiced their displeasure.
Metra ha 81 kama mti asese mu betwa wuka amame nemum na kusiu dia mame beti ase de mamo afei mu tua me ka ba fini enne echira afei de ya se mutu tua
na mercy fie enie omuso omuntua ye ka ye ni abre pa enti etika de cha so omode maye
pit na ni o say yes die kama say oso untua no enka enye 2017.
Residents of Techre and Apostolic Room are demanding the rebuilding of their houses.
Saa na obi wo so a ne maso nyini ne madoso nti osini dan ama ne ma che se wo hwe dan kura ye twitwa ya ebi wo ha ne dan be 3 rooms wo hwe fie wo yesie ya 1 2 3 ne madoso ne manyi fan no mo beda wo so ba no so woni obi ya nkasa woni obi ya menwen hwe ho ya dan na e wo ha no omunsi ya de ma ye nka se pro musika dan na masi dan na e wo ho nye osika nti na msi.
Joy News reached out to Newmont and the town of Municipal Chief Executive Pius Opoku for their response, but both declined to comment.
Well, let's take you back to our earlier story, where in a bid to avoid accountability, some small-scale miners are reclaiming their concessions as government cracks down on those abandoning deadly pits. And this move comes after a string of tragic incidents, including the recent collapse of a Galamsey pit in the Ichima Mponia district in the Ashanti region, which claimed 9 lives and left several injured. Nanaya report from the constituency.
Mining pits opened by illegal miners are scattered in many communities across the country. On Thursday, 12 people were retrieved from a mining pit at Kasutie after the pit collapsed on them, with 7 declared dead. Between April and September 2025, 4 people died in a desperate search for gold in abandoned pits. In parts of the country, there are reports of children drowning in illegal mining pits. The Minerals Development Fund, as part of its mandate, is expected to provide funds to redress the harmful effects of mining on affected communities and persons. The Chief Executive Officer of the fund, Dr. Hannah Bisiu Kote, in an earlier interview indicated readiness to lead reclamation efforts.
So whoever did it, you pay, simple. And after that, the Lord deals with you. When you pay us, the Lord deals with you. That one is between you, between the Attorney General, between the security, between everybody else. But for Mineral Development Fund, you owe us. We took you in.
At Abompe in the Ashanti region, some farmers have lost their lands to small-scale mining, and most of the pits are left abandoned. Aside from the risk to lives and properties, families who depended on the lands for survival go hungry. But before the government's enforcement team goes after miners who abandon the pits, some of them are willingly reclaiming the lands. Michael Osei of Osei Michael 79 Enterprise has led reclamation of 40 acres of land mined by the company.
The government is against leaving pits opened after mining. So as a responsible miner, I had to adhere to it.
Bandim Anane, until a few years ago, farmed vegetables on the reclaimed land. Today, he has returned to have a look at the reclaimed mine land in anticipation of a return.
Some miners have started taking away their excavators after mining. You can't confront them because you didn't give them the land. I plead with the government to ensure that all these people cover the pits.
For many, this is the first time they are seeing such a massive reclamation exercise within Abumpe community. Most of the residents are excited about the development. Their hope is that all miners who use this area are able to reclaim these lands so that most of the farmers who used to work in here can return for their daily bread. For Joy News, Namaya Ojima, Abumpe, in the Atrimampunya district of the Ashanti region.
From the Ashanti region, let's take you to the northeast region, where police in the area have launched a manhunt after gunmen attacked a Ghana Immigration Service checkpoint at Bintri in the East Mamprisi municipality, killing one officer and leaving another critically injured. The assault happened in the early hours of Friday, October 3, and police say the attackers fled with a motorbike and bags belonging to the officers. Northeast Regional Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Robert Anabik, has been given further details, and you should listen to him.
We have a caution. There's now people who are making circulating rumors as to the circumstances surrounding this attack to put a stop to that. We have no information as to whether the attack has been instigated by any other person linking to drug trade or any conflict within the region. We urge the public to to do away with that, those rumors going around. We sympathize with the immigration service and we convey our condolences to them, wishing that the injured person will fully recover and give us more information about what happened so that we can properly investigate and get the perpetrators arrested.
Moving on, the Majority Caucus on Communications and Information Committee has rejected calls for Communications Minister Sam George to resign or be dismissed by President John Mahama over the DSTV subscription prices impasse. Addressing the media and Parliament, member of the committee and MP for Tain, Sulemana Adama, said the caucus maintains that allegations of irregularities by the minority, the minister's handling of the arrangements surrounding the matter are baseless, insisting there's absolutely no justification for his removal from office.
Members of the Majority Caucus of the Communications Committee, we recognize the minority's concerns. We, however, emphatically disagree with their position and their call for the removal of the minister responsible for communication. This is premised on the fact that the goal of protecting Ghanaian consumers must always be the driving force behind parliamentary activities. In their statement, Honorable Oreku sought to create the impression that there are serious irregularities with the arrangement the minister reached with multi-choice. The majority wishes to place on record that these assertions are wholly unfounded and do not reflect the facts on the ground. There is nothing irregular about the minister's engagement with multi-choice, and there is absolutely no justification for the call on the minister to resign. The minister has acted within his mandate and continues to provide the needed leadership to stabilize and guide the sector. The criticism of the deputy ranking member offers a chance to thoroughly examine the state and progress of Ghana's communication sector, especially given the legacy issues inherited from the previous NPP government led by Mrs. Esther Owusu.
Well, he further stated that the Communications and Information Committee has invited the management of DSTV and are expected to appear before the committee next week.
Committees of Parliament are not micromanagers. We don't just jump into activities of the ministries, departments, and agencies. We allow them to play out. It is only when we see that there was a need, deadlock, that's when you come in. In the initial stages, we got in touch with the ministry. They stated their position. The committee also got in touch with MultiChoice. A meeting was actually slated to be held. And then something else cropped up. The minister gave us assurances that they will come back to us. Then they reached an agreement. We were sure the agreement was an agreement between the two sides because in the particular meeting that announced this bouquet, MultiChoice and Co were there. So parliamentary committees are not managers of the agencies. We offer oversight, and we think that is the right time to offer that oversight. Then, yes, we are in agreement with the reductions being sought by the minister, and that we believe that it's value for money, so we support the reduction. We envisage that early next week, this meeting should come on between the ministry, the committee, and MultiChoice. Remember, it's not just about safeguarding the interest of consumers. We also need to safeguard the interest of businesses doing business in Ghana, and it's the reason why it's critical.
Now, over 400,000 adolescent girls in the Ashanti region will be vaccinated against cervical cancer as part of a nationwide campaign targeting 2.4 million girls. The campaign follows two successful pilot programs conducted between 2013 and 2018. Ohim Interior has more on the following report.
The Ghana Health Service says the burden of cervical cancer is on the increase in Ghana. Experts say its elimination is feasible with high uptake of the HPV vaccine. At least 400,000 adolescent girls aged between 9 and 14 are scheduled to be vaccinated in the Ashanti region as a nationwide campaign targets 2.4 million girls. This is the first time Ghana is rolling out a nationwide HPV vaccination exercise after two successful piloted campaigns between 2013 and 2018 covering 14 districts. Ashanti Regional Health Director Dr. Fred Atumakobuatin told a media launch that HPV vaccination will give beneficiaries a head start towards a healthier cervical cancer-free adulthood.
It's so difficult when people are not sick and you tell them to come for vaccines. And moreover, people tend to get the disease in about later age of life, about 30 years, 25 years. So it's important that we communicate this to people for them to see the importance that, look, the vaccine is the most important way to preventing cervical cancer. Globally, you look almost about 604,000 new cases of cervical cancer. And out of this number, about 340 of them die. And 84% of this happening in the lower and then middle income countries, which we fall in that. And what is preventing the developed countries from getting a lot of cervical cancer cases? It's because of the vaccines. And so if we are talking about eliminating cervical cancer, then the vaccine is the cheap and our best bet for the country.
While calling for support from all stakeholders to help facilitate vaccination exercise in schools, he wants them to serve as champions to dispel myths and rumors surrounding the vaccination.
If you look at Ashanti region, if you look at our projection, we are looking roughly at almost 400,000 for us to vaccinate them. And you see that the nature of this vaccination is quite different from the others, especially most of them are going to be in school. It's important that the chief imams, the reverend fathers, the apostles, the teachers, parents, more especially the media, that we hammer on this.
A combination of in-school and out-school strategies will be used to ensure no eligible girl is left out. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oyemi reporting.
The Free SHS Secretariat is warning private schools to stop charging parents any fees following reports that some schools are demanding payment despite being covered under the Free Senior High School policy. Deputy National Coordinator of the Secretariat, Dr. Belinda Glover, expressed strong dissatisfaction about the incident, emphasizing that such practices violate the agreements between the Secretariat and private schools.
My agreement with the Director General, the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry is that the students who are being posted to private are going to be their students. They are not going to be boarding students. If a person is posted to private as a day student, it means that the person will not pay anything apart from what the government has approved. However, if the person expresses desire to use a boarding facility or be in a boarding house.
Okay, so thank you very much and thank you for coming. The private schools are not to charge any student any fee. Those private schools that the government have absorbed into the Free Senior High School program are treated as day school. So they are not to charge any student any fee. The students are to go to school and they are to be treated as day students. However, if a school has a boarding facility, then a parent must be prepared to pay the difference, which is a boarding facility, to augment what government is paying for the child. So every school that has been absorbed under the Free Senior High School program is treated as a day school, not as a boarding school. So those schools who are charging should stop. We are not happy about them charging the students. For now, I want to keep those names because I wouldn't want the public to, so let's keep it for now because we are still doing investigation. So GES will write to them officially and then the matter will be taken up.
Well, you heard from Madam Belinda Glover there, but in response, the communications director of the Conference of Heads of Private Second Cycle Schools, Naftali Chebafor, explained that the fees being charged are meant to support boarding facilities which are not covered under the Free Senior High School policy.
My agreement with the Director General, the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry is that the students who are being posted to private are going to be their students. They are not going to be boarding students. If a person is posted to private as a day student, it means that the person will not pay anything apart from what the government has approved. However, if the person expresses desire to use a boarding facility or be in a boarding house, they are needed to charge the boarding fee. So there's any charge you hear of, it really has to be the boarding component of the school. Nothing has it has nothing to do with the day system. Unless as a day student there's another charge, then that is when our attention can be drawn to that. And because we are still not finalized a memorandum of understanding also with the Ministry of the Ghana Education Service, other details have been left hanging. But for now, what we know is that every school is a student that expresses desire to join the boarding system would have to charge a boarding component of the school. But if it's a day student, it's totally free.
You're still live on the Joy News channel. This is Joy Newsroom. We take a breather here. We're back with more. You're welcome back. This is Joy Newsroom with me, Noella Karanyali. Now, Kumasi, once celebrated as the Garden City, is now choking under heaps of filth in its markets, drains and streets. Ahead of National Sanitation Day today, residents say they are ready to join the cleanup but want stricter enforcement to keep the city clean.
Sabio, Kumasi and I say, cry in Jemu. Oh, maybe a mechanic, Utimi Kote Chimai, Sunyai, environment in Nichen Kumasi. Wow.
Kumasi is really dirty. When you go to other places like Techiman and Sunyani, these places are very neat. We must make the city clean.
So, Kumasi, respect is different. By a problem, I say, fee, high. So, Kumasi, dear, Sadia, no, say you 2-1 and 1 year 2 fee as if Kumasi crew.
Say, environment in the cleaner, depending on your individual.
The responsibility lies on us to keep our environment clean.
Sanitation day
They must enforce people to clean their spaces to make the city neat.
Sanitation day
it is important that we clean our spaces.
But
once I am in the known, we will join to clean the place. You can see that we have already cleared our place.
Compound by a baby in
It is of no use if we don't collect the refuse after cleaning. We must have refuse collectors around. I wish the sanitation day was held daily. We are always happy to see how neat abroad is. We can also do same here.
Ghana, you need to cry. The best simple phone say yes, Mama Roma. Yeah, young man, you and running in the infant free.
Now, from Kumasi, the race for Ghana's clean energy champion heats up as 6 schools compete in the grand finale of the Senior High School Renewable Energy Challenge on October 7 at the Accra International Conference Centre. Damango Senior High School, representing the Savannah region, is ready to impress the judges with innovative solutions to Ghana's modern-day challenges. Here's a report on their preparations.
In the heart of Damango, the capital of the Savannah region, lies the Damango Senior High School, affectionately known as DAS. Founded in 1971, DAS has shaped the future of the region and Ghana by nurturing its human resources. The school made a bold move in 2021 by participating in the Energy Commission Senior High School's Renewable Challenge. After enduring 4 consecutive defeats at the regional level, DAS finally emerged victorious the 2025 edition. Project coordinator of the team, Sidiki Michael, reminisces about the journey, highlighting the crucial roles and how it helped them prepare for this year.
Yeah, so for this particular year, over the years we have learned and we got to understand that one of the key things that go into project development as far as this contest is concerned has to do with the innovation. So usually Energy Commission wants to see something that is not done, something that is not seen, that is very rare to find, and something that is not just common thinking that everybody else is doing. So even if you are doing irrigation, what is different with your system than the existing systems of irrigation?
Mahmoud Ibrahim shared insight into the project's design.
The connections of the fans and the controllers and the heaters.
Okay. So at the end of the day, what will we be producing?
At the end of the day, we are expecting to be producing bioplastic.
Okay. I mean, this one, it becomes what?
This one becomes the bioplastic machine.
Okay. So what and what make up the complete machine?
This is where we are going to be drawing our power from. So this is a solar system that we are going to sell. we are going to connect it to this our system that we are developing right now. So we connect it from there. We will take the power source from here. We will now be able to power the system.
Amori Memuna also expressed the team's confidence and preparedness to take on the challenge.
Well, we are not intimidated because, come on, they are humans like we are. They are students. What they do is the same thing we do here. So why should we be intimidated? We can do it the same way they are doing it. That's the same way we can also do it.
How prepared are you?
We are very prepared, like way prepared. With the work we are doing, with the help of our coach, we are doing so great.
With this mindset, the students said they are determined to go all the way and claim victory in the 5th edition of the Energy Commission Senior High School Renewable Challenge, rather than returning to the Green Savannah region empty-handed without a trophy. From Damago, Azimonia for Joy News.
Well, let's still stay on Renewable Energy Challenge because it's a battle of brains and innovation for the ultimate prize on renewable energy. And amongst the 6 finalists, the Hantaman Girls Senior High School is gearing up to showcase their project and go for gold. Western Regional Correspondent Natalia Kwanzaa reports.
Lights in Sekendi Takrade, the black and white royals of a Hantaman Girls Senior High School are once again making history after clinching the Western Region title for the 2nd year running. They are heading to Accra to represent their region in the National Renewable Energy Challenge. What makes their journey remarkable is not just their brilliance, but the fact that they are not a STEM school yet. They continue to outshine the rest. Their invention is more than just a school project. It addresses a pressing national challenge: how to store vaccines in rural clinics without electricity.
The first thing that made us stand out was our presentation. We are bold and we are confident. And another thing is our device is so unique. That is, it's geared to a particular region. That's the health sector for the storage of vaccines. So this is addressing a real issue in Ghana, especially with the cholera and other diseases that because of it we might not be getting vaccines in the country. So our device is really helping the health sector and all the remote clinics and vaccine outreach programs. Yes.
For the school's headmistress, Ernestina Kankam, this is not just about science, it's about breaking stereotypes and proving that girls, especially from non-STEM schools, can rise to any challenge.
I feel on top of the whole world. I feel excited. The reason is not because we won, but the reason is because we are not a STEM school, and we are a girls' school. Normally, such things are in the purview of boys. They are naturally, skewed towards such things, technical things, playing with things, forming things, and all that. Interestingly, I think last year we won, and this year as well. And we always won with another girls' school, and this year is the same thing, So I'm excited, not just for my school, but for the other girls' school, because being girls, we are not normally prone to such things, but not being so good. So that is how I feel. Remember last year, we were giving the best presenters. Yeah, so people are wondering how come that the best presenters took the 5th position, but we are not judges. The judges have their criteria. But what is interesting is that we were spectacular in some area. It was about our presentation. I think this is the same thing. We are expecting the best. And we have done what is possibly supposed to be done. We have explored all avenues. Finances mostly have been a challenge because, such things you need support here and there. We may have the support, but not what we expect, So as a school, I think that we have done what we need to do. And for that, we are just hoping, not even hope, we are trusting God that a little that we put in will come out big.
From the Hill of Lights in Sekendi Takrade to the national stage in Accra, Hantaman girls are proving that brilliance knows no boundaries, neither gender nor background.
To our competitors, just know that we are coming, and we are coming with fire. Agis, our pride. Agis, the royals. Agis, the school on the hill of light. Asia, watch out.
With their eyes set on the prize, these young innovators remind us that the future of renewable energy in Ghana is not just bright, it is solar-powered. In Athalia Kwansa, Joy News, Sekendi Takrade.
Well, from Takrade, let's take you to the Volta region, where Member of Parliament for Hull West is stepping up efforts to position the Volta region as an ICT hub. He says the goal is to equip local talent with the skills needed to thrive in today's fast-changing digital world. Emmanuel Kwesi-Bezra made this known at the opening of the 2025 Hull West Annual Tech Test at Chicho.
About 200 participants were drawn from across the Volta region to participate in the third edition of the Hull West Annual Tech Fest. They will undergo a 2 weeks intensive field training in virtual reality technology, drone piloting and mapping, 3D modeling and printing, coding, website development and entrepreneurship, among others. McAfee Bejra led a team from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to train the participants.
Also, in the area of developing the devices, I spoke about drones, drone piloting, geospatial mapping. COVID, my dear MP, distinguished guests. Over here, you see a small drone. That's one, we imported it. That's a Phantom 4 Pro drone. If you want to do any spatial mapping with this, on a single battery flight, you only get 25 minutes. But putting our heads together as a team, exercising our technical knowledge, we learn from this, and the big one that you see over there, I'm happy to say that we locally produce this.
The Member of Parliament for Hull West, Emmanuel Kwesi-Bejra, said he developed the idea when brainstorming the best way to curb youth unemployment.
The mission is to turn Hull West, for that matter, Volta into real ICT hub within the West African South Group, where multinational companies can outsource jobs for the youth to sit at home and work for good money. And I'm very
Now, the Apostolic Church Ghana celebrated 90 years of spreading the gospel and making disciples of Christ. The clergy thus used the opportunity to call for a revival in the church and a renewal of mind for its members as well. The church was born out of the 1904-1905 Welsh revival and was formally established in Ghana in 1935 by pioneers like Pastor James McKeown and Pastor Peter Newman Enim. Today, the Apostolic Church Ghana has grown to become one of the country's most spiritually powerful and enduring Pentecostal movement, with over 1,500 local churches in Ghana and mission fields in several other countries. Speaking to the media on the side of the zonal celebration of Mamprobi Adabraka Kaneshi and Kwashiman areas, President of the Apostolic Church of Ghana, Apostle Dr. Aaron Almana, indicated that the celebration calls for a revival and renewed mind in the church.
Established in 1935 by pioneers like Pastor James McKeown and Pastor Peter Newman Enim, today the Apostolic Church Ghana has grown to become one of the country's most spiritually powerful and enduring Pentecostal movement, with over 1,500 local churches in Ghana and mission fields in several other countries. Speaking to the media on the side of the zonal celebration of Mamprobi, Adabraka, Kaneshi and Kwashiman areas, President of the Apostolic Church Ghana, Apostle Dr. Aaron Amina, indicated that the celebration calls for a revival and renewed mind in the church.
We have 4 areas coming together to celebrate. Our expectation is that Christians will understand that Christianity is about a changed life. Christianity is about a new life. Christianity is not just what we do in the church building, and when we go to our homes, when we go to our workplaces, we just do anything. With the number of people in Ghana who call themselves Christians, if we will live like Christians in our workplaces and our homes, Ghana will have no problem.
Speaking on the theme, the God that answers by fire, which is the theme for the 90th anniversary celebration, Vice President Apostle Efumnyako had the message for the youth.
We want the youth of this church to start learning, to know the legacies that our fathers left, build upon them, so that one, the identity of this church will not be lost when we attain 100 years. We want the youth of this church to develop that virtue of patience, that virtue of commitment, that virtue of dedication. Today what we see is that when you give a youth, lift this, push this to that side, you must pay. So that commitment that our fathers had is no more.
18-member committee was set for the 90th anniversary zonal convention. Chairman for the committee is Pastor Enoch Atutonu, and he used the occasion to caution the youth on the use of social media.
Insulting adults, insulting people is not a way to go. You don't even generate interest of people to listen to you. The apostle told young Timothy that let no man despise your youth. The people will despise you if you look down on your own or you place yourself below them. But as youth, if we place ourselves at a place where people will look up to us, they will have no other choice than to look up to us. And it is how we carry ourselves about and how we interact with people that will make people want to listen to us. So I want to advise that please and please, let's not be abusive in our when we get opportunity to be on radio, to be on TV, on social media, but we should speak politely and speak with decorum.
And that's it for us here at Joy Newsroom. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more of our local and international stories. I'm Noella Kareniali. Enjoy the rest of our programming.